everybody. So, continuing with our lessons on circles and uh, moving into circumference. Now, the best, really kind of non-mathematical definition of circumference would be it's the perimeter of a circle. Okay, for circles, we do not use the word perimeter. Okay, but it is simply the distance around a circle. Okay, so given that a circle is a set of numbers, a set of values that is equally distanced from the center point, the circumference is that distance. Start here and go. Okay, now the formula for circumference is pi, which is that symbol right there. Okay, and it's a Greek letter. That's where that comes from. Times the diameter, and diameter is a lowercase d. Now, the interesting piece of this, okay, and I want you to see this, is that pi itself is a ratio. Pi, and I just make it two little sticks, but instead of a roof, it has kind of a wave on top. Pi itself is a ratio. That's all it's ever been. It is the circumference, okay, divided by the diameter. If we knew the circumference of any circle and we knew the diameter and we divided and found that ratio like in a decimal form, okay, what we would immediately find is that you're going to get the value pi. That's where it came from. So normally we write this formula, circumference equals pi times diameter. Because you also know that radius and radius together make a diameter, okay, you could also say that it's circumference equals 2 times pi, only because we always put the coefficient first, times radius, because it's the radius twice. Okay? So that is the formula, and that's it. We just use the formula. That's what we do. Okay? Now, the problems will tell you that for pi, you're going to use the estimate 3.14 or the fraction 22/7. In this class, I do not want you, and it's hard because it's so incredibly accurate. I do not want you to use a pi button on a calculator. It uses more digits, and you're going to get a different answer than it's expecting. So please use the value that they give you as the estimate for pi. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. So if my diameter was 27, okay, and I did 27 times pi. Oops. 27 times pi. I'd get 84.823, blah, 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 blah. If instead I use the number they gave me, 27 times 3.14, notice I get a different number. And it's off, I mean, it's different even in the hundredths place. So what we're going to do is stick with a standard so that we're getting the same information. And we do that because it is doable, one, by hand, and two, with very, very simple calculators. But if yours has a pi button, just don't use it right now. If we were sending people to the moon, we would want that pi button. Okay, we would want a supercomputer too. So please, please just honor that, or you will get things marked wrong. Now, there are two types of answers that we're going to have. One type is quote unquote in terms of pi. The other is calculated, or it might say, what is the distance? Okay. And I'm going to show you both. In terms of pi is so easy, and it makes for really good comparisons. We'll see later. But sometimes that's not enough information. I want to know the whole value. So in this one, what is the circumference of this circle with a diameter of 4 inches in terms of pi? So here's my circle, and it says the diameter is 4 inches. Well, I know the diameter goes all the way across. So this right here is 4 inches. Okay. Write down the formula. Circumference is pi times diameter. Circumference, it said in terms of pi, so I'm not putting in a number value for pi. But I do know that the number value for diameter is 4. So it's 4 pi inches. That's my final answer. That's all I have to do. Now, I know that pi is 3.14, so I know that it's a little more than 12 inches around. This can be really good for estimating. You don't even have to do all the calculation. You know it's whatever that number is times 3 and a little bit. Okay, great for estimating and great for comparing, but not great for details. So let's look at another example. What is the length of a tire track made by one rotation of a 20-inch bicycle wheel? Use 3.14 for pi, round to the nearest tenth. So you guys are going to really need to, I do too, I just have more experience at it, read the details of the questions. What is it asking for? Okay, so circumference is pi times diameter. They said that this was a 20-inch bicycle wheel. So that means that all the way across, that's 20 inches. Okay, if they only told me the radius, I could still figure out the diameter. So now circumference is 3.14 for pi, because that is what they asked us to use, times 20. And you can feel free to use a calculator or not. It is really not necessary. 3.14 is the great time to practice your multiplication skills. Okay. 8, 2, 6, 2 decimal places. Okay. So the circumference is 62.80. It asks for the nearest tenth. So 62.8 inches. Make sure to label. Okay. So if I was able to ride my bike so precisely that I could get the wheel to spin just one time, I'm going to leave a 62.8 inch tire track. Okay. Because this is a 20-inch wheel. So I want you to try the problems that I've assigned. Give this a try. You'll find that it's really very straightforward. My expectation is that you would write down the formula every time. Okay. You would substitute in the numbers. And then you could use a calculator to calculate the answer if you liked. Okay. Can't wait to see you again in class.